Joining me now, California Congressman Ted Lieu, a Democratic member of the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees. Welcome back. Always good to have you on the broadcast, sir. DHS Secretary Mayorkas says that the message is clear that our border is closed. But, Congressman, is that message being heard? And even if it is, to what effect?
Thank you, Alex, for your question. Secretary Mayorkas is correct. Our border is closed, and that's why President Biden said don't come. If you look at what the Department of Homeland Security has been saying, it's been very consistent. I also simply want to remind people that the Biden administration has been in office less than 60 days. Immigration has been a problem. It was a problem under Donald Trump. It is a problem now. That's why I support comprehensive immigration reform. Every single day, the Department of Homeland Security is apprehending folks at the border and returning them. So do not come to the United States unless you have papers.
So, Congressman, let me ask you, though, I'm just thinking logistically, that the Biden administration can say, don't come, our border is closed. But when people are already on the move, when you've got migrants that are making their way, and it takes weeks, if not months, to potentially literally walk from Central America up to the border, it's hard to imagine they're able to hear any new policy or get that kind of communication, right? So those that we're seeing, they started making this journey quite some time ago.
That's exactly correct. That's the same thing that happened under the Trump administration. Remember all those caravans?
Right.
That happened under the Trump administration. People made this treacherous journey under the Trump administration. They also did it under the Obama administration, and they also did it under the Bush administration. They're going to do this because of the problems that they're also experiencing at home in their countries, and that's why we need a multi-pronged solution where we try to make sure the situations in their countries are better so we don't have migrants making this treacherous journey. This is not a single solution. It's going to be a multi-factor solution. And again, that's why we need comprehensive immigration reform.
Okay, so we've heard what the DHS Secretary Mayorkas is saying about this. Let's take a listen to what Texas Republican Congressman Michael McCall is predicting.
It's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse. Springtime, summer, more and more come over. The message is coming back that, hey, we got a new president. Come on in. We're open for business to the traffickers. And guess what? They're right here. And I predict 1 million people trying to get into this country by the summertime.
1 million people by summertime? Is this partisan hyperbole?
It is correct that immigration goes up and down at the southern border depending on the time of year. And so, yes, as spring and summer comes, often you do see additional numbers of migrants.
Congressman, you have frozen, sir.
Expelling them, as Secretary Mayorkas said, and that's going to continue. So the message, again, is don't come.
Okay, good. I'm glad we got you turned back up, but we got your message loud and clear. Let me ask you about the American Rescue Plan, which is passed, and the stimulus checks. They've been sent to tens of millions of Americans. What's the reaction among your constituents? Are you getting a sense of how it's helping them?
It is one of relief. American families and small businesses are getting the resources they need to make it through this pandemic. This is also going to get us on the road to economic recovery much sooner and much quicker. Recent reports from various firms expected an increasing GDP because of the American Rescue Plan. And we're going to make sure that we get shots into people's arms, kids back in schools, and people into jobs.
Yeah. So switching gears this week, we saw the horrific attacks in Atlanta on Asian Americans. We heard Republican Congressman Chip Roy's comments that equated the attacks to lynching. That happened during a House Judiciary Committee hearing on the rise of anti-Asian American violence. But what I'd like to play for the viewers here is what you said, your response during that hearing. Let's take a look and listen, everyone.
I serve on active duty, so you can say whatever you want on the First Amendment. You can say racist, stupid stuff if you want. But I'm asking you to please stop using racist terms like Kung Flu or Wuhan virus or other ethnic identifiers in describing this virus. I am not a virus. And when you say things like that, it hurts the Asian American community.
Well said. What has been the reaction to what you said from your colleagues, from your constituents? And do you think what you said is resonating in the country?
People who are not racist understand what I said. And so I just want to have this message out to the American people. There is a surge in violence against the Asian American community. And rhetoric does matter. The expert witnesses at the hearing testified that rhetoric can cause an increase in hate crimes and hate incidents. So please call coronavirus by its name, coronavirus or COVID-19. Stop using ethnic identifiers. I am not a virus. My family is not a virus. We don't transmit the virus any more than any other family. So please just call it by its scientific name and be a part of the solution.
I've got to ask something, or a lot of times people listen to personal stories and it really hits home. We've heard multiple accounts of Asian Americans, the racism and the violence they've endured. Have you, sir, ever faced the same kind of attacks? I mean, is there a personal account that you can share with us? You don't have to if you don't want to. I just thought I'd ask.
So growing up, it was very clear I was viewed as a foreigner. Sometimes when people looked at me, their first thought was that I'm not American. I'm a second-class citizen. I would be called chink. People would throw eggs at our home. Sometimes our tires on our cars were slashed. And if you just look at my social media feed on any given day, you see a number of racist comments directed at me. So this is something that I do experience. Other people experience it far worse. There have been people that have been assaulted physically because of their race. And if you look at the history of America, we see a attack on ethnic minorities, including Asian Americans, whenever our country feels threatened. So we had the whole yellow peril hysteria, followed by the Chinese Exclusion Act, and then the internment of over 120,000 Americans who happen to be of Japanese descent. And now we have this pandemic where, again, there's rising violence against Asian Americans.
Well, given the level of respect I have for you, all I can say is I hate hearing what you've had to endure, and I hope it stops. But California Congressman Ted Lieu, my friend, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a word that you don't want to hear.